Brocéliande is the name of a legendary forest in France that first appears in literature in 1160, in the Roman de Rou, a verse chronicle written by Wace. Brocéliande is a notable place of legend because of its uncertain location, unusual weather, and its ties with Arthurian romance, most notably a magical fountain and the tomb of the legendary figure Merlin. Location. Early sourceworks provide unclear or conflicting information on the exact location of Brocéliande. Different hypotheses exist to locate Brocéliande on the map. According to Wace, Brocéliande is in Brittany. In modern times, Brocéliande is most commonly considered to be Piedmont Forest in Brittany. Some scholars think that Brocéliande is a mythological place and has never existed. Jean Markel notes that while the forest itself is legendary, it is part of the remainder of the immense forest that covered the entire centre of Brittany until the High Middle Ages. Quote, he goes on to point out that the notion of a magical forest in France has its roots in the writings of Lucan, who describes a numinous, magical forest full of ominous happenings in Gaul. Medieval historical accounts first mention Brocéliande is a land of peoples with many legends according to the Roman de Rou, which covers the history of the Dukes of Normandy from the time of Rollo of Normandy to the Battle of Tinchebray. Wace numbers the Bretons from Brocéliande, about whom there are many legends, along with the Breton knights. Wace.Brocéliande dont les Bretons disent maintes legends. Wace also gives the name of the fountain of Barentin, La Fontaine de Barentin, sorte un part les le Perrin. Wace describes how hunters scoop water from the fountain and wet of stone in order to summon rain. He also mentions rumors of fairies and magic. He travels to Brittany in search of these marvels, but finds nothing notable. Brocéliande is briefly mentioned in one historical text, in Bertrand de Born's 1183 poem dedicated to Geoffrey II, Duke of Brittany, the duke to whom Brocéliande belonged. Brocéliande's unusual weather alone is noted in a handful of texts, in Giraldus Cambrensis c. 1185 expeditionary account, Topographia Hibernica, in Alexandra Neckham c. 1195 work on nautical science, De Naturae Rerum, in William the Breton c. 1215 poem Philippid, Arthurian legend. Earliest appearances in the 1170s, Chrétien de Troyes mentions the forest of Brocéliande in his Arthurian romance, Le Chevalier au Lion. While in Brocéliande, Yvain pours water from a spring into a stone, causing a violent storm to erupt. This in turn summons the knight Esclardos Le Rose who defends the forest. In Geoffrey, the Arthurian romance of unknown authorship composed in Catalonia, the forest of Brocéliande is near King Arthur's palace and the site of a mill where King Arthur battles a strange bull-like animal. The dating of Geoffrey is debated and may have been written as early as 1183 or as late as 1225 to 1228. In the late 12th or early 13th century, Robert de Boron associates the wizard Merlin with Brocéliande in his poem Merlin, also known as the Histoire de Merlin or the Vulgata prose Merlin. In the early 13th century, Brocéliande appears in context with archangels and Arthurian knights in the medieval poet Huon de Mary's allegorical poem Tournament Antichrist. By the time frame of 1230 to 1240, the forest of Brocéliande is established as part of Arthurian legend, having appeared in multiple writings. Brocéliande continues to appear throughout the Arthurian canon, in works such as Alfred, Lord Tennyson's 19th-century poem Idylls of the King and 20th-century works including Edwin Arlington Robinson's 1917 poem Merlin and Alan Seeger's 1916 poem Brocéliande. Jean Lorraine wrote the play Brocéliande, in which the love between Maidhin and Vivian is treated. As in many of the early Arthurian works, Brocéliande is the location where Vivian entraps Merlin inside an oak tree. Modern fiction. Brocéliande serves as the location of Robert Holdstock's fantasy novel Merlin's Wood. It is mentioned repeatedly in André Norton's Here Abide Monsters using the formula Avalon, Tara, Brocéliande, Karnak. The name was an inspiration for J.R.R. Tolkien's fictional realm of Beleriand in Middle-earth. The name Brocéliande was used in the early sketches of the Silmarillion. Several of the short stories of Sylvia Townsend Warner's collection Kingdoms of Elfin are set in Brocéliande mention it, among several other enchanted forests where Townsend's elfin folk live. It appears in the movie Robin Hood as the place where Robert Locksley is ambushed by the French. In Michael Swanwick's The Dragons of Babel, Brocéliande is a train station where a bomb was dropped in a war between two kingdoms. Vanni Santone's novel Terra Ignota Il Risveglio features a magic forest named Brocéliande. Sarah Singleton's book The Poison Garden features a magic garden called Brocéliande. Cassandra Clare's series The Mortal Instruments features a forest named Brocéliande in the fictional Shadowhunter nation of Idris. Brocéliande is the name of a forest in Joan Aiken's young adult novel The Stolen Lake, which, despite taking place in a fictionalized version of South America, has a strong Arthurian themes. In Bernard Cornwell's Arthurian trilogy The Warlord Chronicles, Brocéliande is one of two British kingdoms that form modern-day Brittany, the other being Armorica. The ABC television series Once Upon a Time features Brocéliande in the season 5 episode Siege Perilous as the location of a magical toadstool, needed for a potion to free the sorcerer Merlin from his imprisonment in a tree. The lake in the center of Brocéliande is filled with possessed suits of armor known as Phantom Knights.